Black Mirror. Our rants continue this week about this season, with Hotel Revere, or Reverie? Yeah, I guess that's how you pronounce that word. This one is actually a really interesting episode as far as its concept is concerned, and then what they do with it is quite incredibly good. And I think, like I said before, Black Mirror is very good about essentially putting a certain technology in the spotlight, showing how it could get corrupted and how it would affect society, or at least the individual, and then kind of playing with it. Hotel Reverie is I just didn't really know what to make of it the first time I saw it. I thought the idea of it was very ingenious, and I'm not really certain if I've seen this idea before, but I'll try and introduce the concept of this. Basically, since Hollywood has sort of run out of ideas in this future, they want to remake a classic film called Hotel Reverie, which is kind of like Casablanca, apparently, or at least feels like it's sort of trying to be like Casablanca. It kind of feels like it's a film that kind of feels like it should be doing its own thing, but no, it feels pretty much, I think the plot is pretty much Casablanca. So what they want to do is they want to remake it, but not in the way that we would do a remake. Here's how they want to do this. Essentially, this technology allows, like, I don't know, like, say, here, okay, at this point in time, I'm going to have to just start getting analogies. Imagine if you could just put some device in your head, and you're instantly transported into the world of the movie. Like, say you wanted to play, like, Han Solo in Star Wars. You could put something in your head, and then bam, you're Han Solo, and you're actually seeing the Star Wars universe around you, and you can do things that Han Solo would do. But if you keep doing certain things, you're going to eventually alter the plot. Like, say, for example, you decided, like, you know what, I'm just going to leave Luke behind with the Death Star and have him, like, sort that out. Well, Han Solo doesn't destroy Darth Vader's TIE fighter, and therefore Luke never really gets to hit the Death Star. So, yeah, so you change things. So in this particular thing, there's this star who's sort of like trying to get the new good role. Her name's Brandy, and one day Brandy's invited by somebody who's kind of bought the rights to Hotel Reverie and wants to bring Brandy in to essentially be the star of Hotel Reverie by using this technology that I talked about. So when Brandy comes in, she enters essentially the actress Dorothy Chambers, who played the lead actress in this film, Hotel Reverie. So Brandy then goes inside this movie, and while she's inside, apparently she can do everything the actress would do, and she studied the script, so she knows pretty much what to say. And but there's a lot of great stuff that they can do as far as like ad-libbing. Say, for example, like this is very similar to, say, something like a time travel movie. Like, let's say you went back in time and you were like and you went to something that happened in the past, and you started doing things there. You're going to mess things up, essentially. But the way time sort of flows, stuff has already happened, so you can't really there are certain things you can't really mess with. So in this particular thing, Brandy knows, like, okay, I can't really mess with the plot and stuff like that. And yeah, it's kind of weird that the character that Brandy is playing was actually originally played by a male actor, but they just figured, like, well, I guess, and for some reason, people in this particular world that she's in of Hotel Reverie, which are, I think, like, during World War II, don't seem to mind the fact that Brandy, who is a black actress, is kind of playing this role which would probably be played by a white male. But hey, that's kind of how they, but the studio is doing this new type of film. They don't care. They just they thought, oh, hey, now it's a film, and we're trying to be, we're trying to be progressive with this. Now, I actually think that you could have done this entire story based on this, because this is actually a really good idea. And honestly, if we had this technology, I would totally be using it, maybe not to play Han Solo or something like that, but I like the idea of this. Unfortunately, now I think this is really interesting because I think what they do is they simply just capture all the footage that they get from this, and then they just kind of make it into a movie, or at least that's the plan. Something goes wrong. There's a problem with the software because I think one of the programmers accidentally spills some coffee onto one of the servers or something like that. So now Brandy is stuck in this virtual world. And I think we've all seen stories where characters are put in a virtual world and they're sort of stuck there. I mean, The Matrix is kind of like that. Sword Art Online kind of uses this sort of thing. But in this case, this one is completely accidental. So Brandy is stuck in this world with and has to interact with the character that Dorothy Chambers, this older actress, plays. And it's really interesting how it plays out, because what she knows about the original actress is that Dorothy Chambers, this is where it gets kind of complicated, but Brandy and Dorothy start to have a relationship. Now, the original Dorothy Chambers was apparently non-binary, and she didn't really get a chance to essentially, act on to act on that because of the mores at the time. So she kind of died. She was not able to be with her female lover. And so within this kind of world, Brandy introduces Dorothy to the fact that you're not a character, you are essentially this other person. And so they embark on kind of a relationship together in this sort of, I don't know how to explain this, but essentially since the program is busted, everything is frozen except Dorothy and Brandy. But and what's weird is like the place that they're in, there's only so far you can go. And there's this really great scene of existential dread where Dorothy realizes that she's reached the limits of where she can go in this world, and she passes through a wall only to enter into this void of blackness. And it's a really good scene, because I kind of went like, oh my gosh, like imagine finding out like that the world you're in is essentially one big simulation. And this has been done before in other works, but I like how this is kind of dealing with it. Dealing with it from the point of view of a character in a film who learns this stuff and then learns that they are based on an actress. And Brandy has to try to sort of awkwardly explain this all, and this is where it gets like really strange. Now, where it gets really interesting is when they actually fix this server and reality starts to jump back. So Brandy really wants to sort of change the ending of this film, and she kind of does. She changes it in such a way that things are different, and it's different enough so that when the film finally comes out, people apparently like it. We don't really see much of a reception as far as like how the actual remake of this film that she has made has come out. And I'm not even sure if I'm really explaining this really well, because this is a pretty complicated, this is a very complicated technology episode, but I never felt lost in it, okay? So that's one of the things I like about this. Now, I'm not sure I really like the ending of this film, where essentially, like, after the film happens and Brandy is apparently made to be probably a bigger star, I guess. Essentially she gets to meet, they set up this sort of Zoom call with, for lack of a better term, with Dorothy, who's the simulation Dorothy. So yeah, and they kind of have a talk, and I kind of think that's kind of nice. That's a really nice ending. Okay, so how do I feel about this episode? I liked it. I thought they were really dealing with something that was kind of really interesting that I never really seen before. At the same time, it felt very familiar to me. Now, here's the thing. The actual thing about the thing where Brandy kind of gets this assignment and then is called in, and then she's put in like a virtual reality studio, and apparently what happened when they sent her the script, they sent her like a USB drive explaining everything, but apparently she dropped the USB drive, didn't see the fact it was so, and then they kind of have to wing it, and they have to tell her like all this stuff. So, and I kind of feel like if this technology was around, like I think she would know about it beforehand. Like I think maybe she would have heard about it or something. Once again, Black Mirror's weakness is they don't really show how the characters would know about the technology. We're trying to introducing it to the character as we are to the audience.